Okay, so task 5. This question starts off saying that we should select a. Let's just go here. Yes, let's just do that, and let's go there. Let's just make that there. So it says that select the appropriate term. So just definitions, really. When you have detailed budgets prepared by functional managers, so you have the functional managers all coming together to create a master budget. So you have input from these guys, from the functional managers, as opposed to the information coming from the management or the directors downwards. We discuss this, talk about this, of course, as a bottom up budgeting, bottom up. Cool, great stuff. So what I then decided to do was to because like I said, I copied and pasted this. So if I just go back to and just generate the next question. You might know this already without me even needing to do this to generate the next question. It says here, what is a cost that fluctuates with in direct proportion to changes in activity? So we know that's a variable cost as well. So that's a variable cost. So that's the first two parts of. Okay, and so we have two budgets here to look at. We have a sales budget and we have a cost of production budget. So let's fly through this. So what we have here is that first of all we have sales revenue. We know this is a variable event. This is what you're generating for the year, and these are the number of units you propose for the year. Therefore, if we're talking about 20,000 units, we are literally going 1,594,600 divided by 238,000 times, which is the cost, which is the selling price of one unit, and then we multiply that by 20,000, of course, because that's what we're looking for, and we plug our answer, plonk that in here, and that's equal to 134,000. Now, materials used, we are given information about this. This is the amount for the year, but we're told here that each unit needs 0.85 kilograms, and it is £2.60 per kilogram. This is what it is to make a unit. So therefore, if we're talking about production of 21,000 units, I'm literally multiplying that by 21,000, and you plunk all of that in there, and you get 446,410. That's what you get. Labor. So we are told that we have 3,300 available, and anything extra is overtime. It says each unit needs 10 minutes, so we're talking about 10 minutes. Oops, sorry, I said 10 minutes, and we are producing 21,000 units. So that's 10 minutes times 21, but we want this in hours, so we divide that by 60. Do that, and you have 3,500 hours required. So you require 3,500 hours. You currently have 3,300. So suppose your first step would be to, first of all, let me just give myself some space. This is recorded, so you can always go back and see the differences. So what was I saying? I was saying that we have 3,000 3,500 hours, and then 3,300 of those will be at the going rate of 15, and the other 200 will be at the rate of 15 times 1.4. And then you're going to, you do all this and work all this out, and you will get a total answer of 53,700, because this is, of course, for this is the actual hours basic time available, and this is the overtime, because they need a total of 3,500 hours. Variable production overhead, this is variable, so this is, and it tells us this is spread over relates to the labor hours. So I have 95,940 divided by total production, which is 21,000. So that's my overhead absorption rate. And I can now multiply that. By doing that, I find my overhead absorption rate per unit for variable. And I now multiply that, of course. Sorry, what am I saying? 95,940 divided by 246,000. I then multiply that, of course, by 21,000, and you will get 8,190. It tells us the fixed production is steadily monthly, so we have a current cost of 96,000 over the whole year. 96,000 divided by 12 is 8,000. So I add all these lovely things together, and I have a total cost of 116,300. 116,300. Cool, great stuff. And that's part B. Okay, and we have seen this again, like I said, in the exam kit, which is why these are very very good to do, the exam kit questions. So what we have here, actually I'll just change my pen color here. I like purple a lot. So we have some alternative movements, some alternative assumptions to be made. Let's start with the first one. Increase the selling price by 5%. So that's the first current price that we have it there. That's 12 times 1.05. 12 times 1.05 takes us to £12.60. It says reduce the sales volume by 8%. So that's my current sales volume. So I'm just literally going to multiply that 80,000 times 0.92, right? Because that's falling by 8%. Reduce that by 8%, and you do that, and you will get 73,600. Then you can now do the calculation of these two together, and you have a total of 927,360. So we know that materials and labor are variable. That's important. Material and labor are variable. So this was material when your volume was 80,000. So therefore, if your volume is going to fall to this, you accept, since it's variable, right? That means the cost of each unit, this is just volume. The cost of each unit would have been 392,000 divided by 80,000. That would have been the cost of each unit. But now I'm dealing with 73,600. So I now multiply this by 73,600. Since that's what we're saying, there's no change to the material price. It's just volume that has changed. And so, of course, I now have here 360,640. Labor is also variable, so I do exactly the same thing. That's 224 divided by 80,000. So that's 224 divided by 80,000 times 73,600. That's the whole point again. How do I convert that and make sure I'm dealing with that in line? And I now have 206,080. Yes, and that's what we're going here. It says energy. Excuse me. There is an allowance for an energy price rise of 7%. So what happened here was we started off with a figure here, and we had budgeted for a 1.075 increase, and that's how we got the 43,000 for energy. But they're telling us actually revise the energy price to 10%. So what I would do is to go back to the starting point, so divide the 43,000 by the 1.075, right? Go back to where you started, and then take that and now multiply that by 1.10, which is the 10%. So go back to the start and now come back up, if you like, because it wants you to revise the energy price by 10%. It's also a revision. So by doing that, you now going back and then coming forward, you now have 44,000. Right, so depreciation says this is a stepped cost increasing every 6,000 units. So interestingly enough, what we have here, depreciation is where we every 6,000 units. So what we have here, excuse me, is that you can see that we have 80,000. When we have a volume of 80,000, if I divide that by 6,000, I can see how many steps there are. So 6 into 80 is 1, and then I have, well, 6 into 8 is 1, and I have 2. 6 into 2 is 3. Yes, 18. So in effect, you have 14 steps. You have 14 steps. And 14 steps, therefore 42,000 divided by 14 is the cost of each step, if you like, if you want to think about it that way. 42,000 is the cost of each step. And 42,000 by 14 looks to me like 3,000. So 7 here is 2, 7 here is 6, so that's 3,000. So it's 3,000 every step, right? It's 3,000 every step. But then I guess the question now is, how many steps is 73,600? So 73,600 divided by 6,000 takes us to 6 and 1. And so I can see that this is coming to the sort of 12 point. So this is going to be 13 steps when I round it up. So 13 steps, and you have 3,000 each. So that's 13 times 3, and that's 39,000. We did a few of these in the exam kit, so you can refer. I'm doing this as a quicker way. You could manually, physically look at it and see what's happening every 6,000 units and see how many steps there are. But that's just long. You could sort of say 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, and then you get there. You're going to get, because you need it's a fixed cost, so you will need an extra step even though you don't have the exact amount of units, if that makes any sense. Once you reach a certain number of units that are a multiple of 6, you're going to have to still, when you cross over, you're still going to have that extra warehouse and that extra fixed cost. And so that's 39,000. Add all of this together and you will have 649,720. Yes. And of course, now we subtract, of course, this total from the sales revenue, and we have gross profit of 277,640. And we see an increase in the gross profit from just comparing these two of 18,640. So probably the tricky thing here was steps, but we have looked at this. Again, play around with the exam kit. But your point is, take this volume and divide by the number of the units in each step, and you will find the number of steps. Cool, great stuff. And that is, I believe, yes, that is the end of the task. So that is the end of task 1.5.